What if the version of you she walked away from was just the beginning? What if she didn't reject you? She rejected the draft, the man in progress, the one who hadn't fully stepped into his power yet. And now, you're no longer chasing closure. You're becoming the man she won't be able to stop thinking about. Not because you're posting thirst traps or sending late-night texts, but because you've mastered something most men never figure out: masculine intrigue. This isn't about revenge. It's about rebirth. It's about moving so deliberately, so silently, so purposefully that your very absence becomes more seductive than your presence ever was. You don't get loud. You don't get bitter. You get focused. Because the moment you stop seeking her attention and start cultivating your aura, the emotional gravity that pulls people in without trying, that's when she starts to wonder, what if I stayed? What if I misunderstood him? What if he was the one and I fumbled it? That's what you want, not bitterness, haunting curiosity. A presence that lingers long after the connection is dead. That's what masculine intrigue is. It's not about proving her wrong. It's about becoming so right with yourself that she can't look at another man without subconsciously comparing him to who you've become. And here's the secret. She wants to wonder. She wants to feel that pull, that itch of curiosity, that lingering tension. It's built into human psychology. Women never forget the man who left mystery on the table. The one who didn't explain himself. The one who didn't beg. The one who moved on without making noise, but whose energy still echoes in her mind. You don't become her biggest what if by being available. You become it by being unreadable, controlled, stoic, progressing with purpose while she sits there, checking your story, hearing about you through friends, feeling the distance, and asking herself the one question that will keep her up at night. What if I never get another version of him again? If you're done being the one who's forgotten and you're ready to become the one who haunts her memory, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, I become the man she'll regret losing. Now, let's begin. Number 1. She can't regret you if she still understands you. Regret is rooted in mystery, in not knowing how the story could have ended, in imagining all the different versions of you she never got to see. But if you give her everything, every thought, every emotion, every breakdown, you rob her of that mystery. You make yourself predictable. And predictable men never become her biggest what if. They become emotional furniture, comfortable, familiar, and easy to leave behind. If she still understands you, if she still knows how to pull you in, if she knows you'll always respond, always be the good guy, always show up when she disappears, there's no space for regret, there's no absence, there's no tension. She already knows how the script ends, and when she knows how the story ends, she stops rereading the chapters. But when you go quiet, when you stop showing your hand, when you stop explaining your pain, when you stop reacting to every breadcrumb she drops, that's when the dynamic flips. That's when you become unreadable. And the unreadable man is the one she thinks about when she's alone, because she doesn't know what he's doing, who he's becoming, what he's feeling, if he still thinks about her, or if she became completely irrelevant. That's the power. Not in being cold, not in being distant, in being unavailable to decode. You stop giving her access to your emotions. You stop being the man she once had control over, because the moment she realizes she can't predict you anymore, she starts wondering if she ever really knew you at all. And that seed of doubt, that's what keeps growing. That's what creates the haunting. That's what makes her look back and whisper to herself, what if I stayed? What if I waited? What if he became everything I needed, just without me? So stop being easy to read. Stop narrating your healing. Stop announcing your progress. Move in silence. Evolve privately. Let the next time she hears about you come from someone else's mouth, and let it leave her breathless. You don't become unforgettable by showing her everything. You become unforgettable by showing her nothing and making her wish she paid closer attention before she lost you. Number 2. disappear from her life but stay in her mind. You don't become a what if by lingering. You don't haunt her thoughts by constantly popping up in her feed, liking her photos, or posting just to get her attention. That makes you visible, and visible is forgettable. The man she never stops thinking about is the one who vanished completely, but left a mark she can't erase. Your presence used to be predictable. You were always there, responding, showing up, giving her access even when she didn't earn it. But now, you're gone. Quiet. No messages, no reactions, no signs. And that silence, that void, that's what starts to echo in her mind when the world gets quiet. When she scrolls and doesn't see you. When she posts something provocative and you don't respond. When the guy she replaced you with doesn't hit the same. That's when she starts feeling you. You don't remind her of what she had by being loud. You remind her by becoming a ghost with weight. One that shows up in her memory when she least expects it. You create distance so she can feel it. Because absence isn't just a lack of presence, it's a mirror. One she's forced to stare into when no one else measures up. Let her wonder where you went. Let her sit in the silence she thought wouldn't matter. Let her go back through old messages just to feel something again. You don't have to block her. You don't have to hate her. You just stop existing in her world. You pull all of your energy back and invest it into becoming someone she could never reach again, even if she tried. The most haunting what if isn't the man who begged for her back. It's the man who disappeared, improved, and never returned. The one who left a silence so profound. She keeps talking to herself in it. Number 3, become the man she thought you'd never be. She saw a version of you, maybe the insecure one, the uncertain one, the man still figuring himself out, and she made her choice based on that. Maybe she thought you'd stay stuck. Maybe she thought she'd outgrow you. Maybe, just maybe, she believed she was trading you in for something better. But what she didn't count on was your evolution. You want to become her biggest what if. Become the man she never thought you had the discipline, the focus, or the drive to become. Not out of spite, but out of purpose. Quiet purpose. Not to show her what she lost, but to become someone who doesn't even need to prove it. That's the version that hits the hardest. The one she didn't believe in. The one she underestimated. The one she thought she figured out. The moment you become emotionally stable, financially focused, physically disciplined, and spiritually grounded, you become dangerous in the most stoic, controlled way possible, not because you're flexing, but because your energy has changed. You walk differently, you talk differently, you move through life with a weight that can't be faked, a presence that doesn't ask for attention but commands it. She'll hear about it before she sees it. A friend mentions your name, someone reposts your success. She checks your page out of curiosity, and suddenly, there you are, different, unfazed, upgraded, and the worst part for her, she wasn't around to see how it happened. That's when the what if settles in. What if I waited? What if I stayed? What if I believed in him just a little longer? You don't need revenge. You don't need an audience. You need discipline. Because when you become the man she never thought you'd be, you turn her doubt into her biggest regret. And you don't have to say a word. The silence, the glow, the growth, it says everything. Number 4, detach so fully that she questions everything. You don't become unforgettable by being bitter. You become unforgettable by being untouched. Detachment isn't indifference, it's mastery, emotional mastery, mental clarity, the kind of internal shift that makes you immune to her patterns. The more she expected you to chase, react, or collapse after she left, the more your silence rewrites her entire narrative. She told herself you'd reach out, that you'd still be there, that she could take her time figuring things out while you stayed emotionally invested. But when you vanish, not out of anger, but out of alignment, everything she assumed starts falling apart. And that's where the psychological tension begins, because now she's not sure where she stands. She's not sure who you are anymore. The emotional access she once had, gone. The predictability? Replaced with poise. You've stopped being the man she left and become someone she no longer has a read on. And the unknown always creates desire. That's the root of masculine intrigue. It's not about what you give, it's about what you withhold. When you detach fully, you remove her ability to control your story. You stop being part of her emotional safety net, and without that anchor, she starts drifting, not into peace, but into regret. Because you've done something most men can't. You didn't just move on, you disconnected with grace. Now, every time she thinks about you, it's not comfort she feels, it's discomfort. A tension, a pull, a gnawing thought. What if he's really gone? What if he's not waiting? What if I lost the best version of him before he ever arrived? That's the power of true detachment. It's not revenge. It's not a performance. It's becoming so aligned with your future that the past no longer gets access, even if it's still watching. Number 5. Let her find out about you through someone else. There's a certain type of pain that doesn't come from confrontation, it comes from realization. And nothing cuts deeper than hearing about your evolution from someone else. She's not checking on you directly, her pride won't allow it. But trust me, she's curious. And when the updates start rolling in, when she hears your name in a conversation she wasn't ready for, when someone casually says, "Yeah, he's doing great now," it hits differently. You're not flaunting, you're not forcing it, you're just living, leveling up so consistently, so quietly, that your name travels without you having to speak it. That's masculine intrigue. That's when you go from the guy she dated to the guy she underestimated. And when the news of your glow-up doesn't come from your lips, but from the world around her, that's when it sticks. Why? Because it removes the frame of ego. It's not you trying to prove anything. It's not you trying to make her jealous. It's neutral, casual, powerful. Because now she knows you're not the same man she walked away from. And the worst part, she's learning about it like everyone else, from the outside. No access, no front row seat, no explanation. That's what creates the what if. Not the drama, not the texts, not the closure. It's the moment she realizes you were becoming everything she wanted. You just did it after she gave up. Let her wonder how you changed. Let her piece it together through whispers and stories and second-hand mentions. You don't need to update her. You don't owe her that privilege. Because when a man evolves and doesn't need to be seen, that's when he becomes unforgettable. You're not trying to make a statement. You are the statement. And when she realizes she's no longer part of the story, that's when the weight of what if hits the hardest. Number 6. Level up without broadcasting it. The loudest men are usually the weakest. They post every gym pic, every small win, every forced smile just to prove they're okay. But the man who truly evolves, he says nothing. He doesn't announce his comeback. He just vanishes, works in silence, and lets the results walk into every room before he does. That's what creates real intrigue. Not the noise, but the absence that speaks volumes. She expected you to fall apart. Maybe she even hoped you would. That would validate her decision. That would make it easier to move on. But instead, you disappeared from her radar, not to hide, but to build. You didn't post about healing. You didn't hint at your pain. You went silent, still, focused, and in that quiet, something dangerous happened. You leveled up without an audience. And now, she's left wondering. No clues, no updates, no emotional breadcrumbs to track your progress. Just a void she can't fill. Because unlike most, you didn't need her to see your growth. You needed her gone to allow it. When she finally hears about the changes, it won't be from your story. It'll be in your energy, your presence, the way you carry yourself when your name comes up again. And that's what leaves an impact. Not the show, not the statement, the fact that you got better when no one was watching, especially her. Let her sit with the silence. Let her realize the only reason she doesn't know who you are now is because she chose to leave before the man was finished becoming. That's what keeps her mind on repeat. That's what creates that internal friction. What if I stayed? What did I miss? You don't have to broadcast your evolution to be seen. You just have to evolve in a way that leaves people speechless when they finally look back. Number 7. Don't replace her. Outgrow her. Most men try to move on by grabbing someone new. It's fast, it's easy, it strokes the ego, but it doesn't create impact. It creates noise, and noise fades. If you really want to become her biggest what if, don't replace her. Outgrow her. Become someone she no longer qualifies for. Someone whose presence she no longer has access to, not because you found someone else, but because you found yourself. You don't show her she was replaceable by rushing into a rebound. You show her she was wrong about you by becoming a man who no longer fits the mold she boxed you into. A man who walks with more purpose, who thinks more clearly, who demands more from life than her version of you ever did. When you move with that kind of intentionality, people feel it, and she will feel it. Not because you're throwing it in her face, but because it's obvious you're not the same. The conversations you used to tolerate, boring. The games you used to play along with, done. The habits you once justified, gone. You're not bitter, you're better. And better isn't loud, it's magnetic. And while she might not say it, deep down, it'll hit her. She didn't lose you to another woman. She lost you to the man you were destined to become. And that's a loss that lingers, because it means she was part of the old version, not the future, not the final form. This isn't about trying to be above her. It's about finally being aligned with who you were always meant to be, and realizing she was never equipped to grow with you. And once that truth becomes clear, you stop chasing love and start attracting regret. The quiet kind, the slow burn, the kind that makes her wonder every time she hears your name. You didn't move on to make a point. You moved up, and now she's no longer in range. Number 8. Let time do the talking. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything overnight. The most powerful men are patient, not passive, patient, because they know time exposes everything. It exposes lies. It exposes fake confidence, and it especially exposes the truth about who really lost when someone walked away. In the moment, she may feel like she made the right call. Maybe she feels free. Maybe she thinks she upgraded. But time has a way of revealing the depth of what she left behind. And the longer you stay silent, focused, and unbothered, the more the weight of that decision builds in her mind. Because if it was really the right decision, why hasn't she stopped thinking about you? This is where most men mess up. They try to rush the revenge, force the glow-up, throw change in her face. But the real sting doesn't come from a quick comeback. It comes from sustained growth, unshakable consistency, the kind of progress that doesn't fade after a few weeks. It compounds over months, years even. And every milestone you hit without her makes the silence louder. Let time do what your words never could. Let it show her what she lost. Let it highlight how different you've become, not just externally, but internally. Time reveals the gap between who you were and who you are now. And the bigger that gap becomes, the heavier her what-if hits. She may not text, she may never say a word. But trust me, if you stay the course, if you keep showing up for yourself while saying nothing to her, time will make your presence impossible to ignore. Not because you forced her to see it, but because she couldn't escape the reality of it anymore. You didn't need to remind her. Time did that for you. Number 9. Never give her the ending she expects. She expects you to fall apart. She expects a breakdown, a message, a comeback. She expects some emotional loose end she can cling to whenever she gets bored or nostalgic. Most men give it to her, some dramatic text, a passive-aggressive post, a final attempt to make her understand. But not you. You don't give her the closure she's comfortable with. You give her silence. You give her the unknown. You don't follow the script. You flip it. She thought she knew how this would play out. You'd chase, she'd pull back, you'd stay emotionally accessible, and she could return if she ever changed her mind. That's the loop she was counting on. But when you refuse to give her that ending, when you break the cycle without making a scene, that's when her mind turns on itself. You don't ghost her, you outgrow her, quietly, without a send-off, without a final word, just progress, just presence, just a steady, upward motion that she can't track, because you stopped performing and started evolving. And the lack of an ending, that becomes the echo, the gap, the wound, because people don't obsess over stories that are finished, they obsess over the ones left open. You want to be her biggest what-if. Never give her the satisfaction of knowing when the chapter ended. Let her flip back through the pages, looking for a sign, a reason, a moment she missed. Let her live with the tension of a door that didn't slam. It just disappeared. No goodbye, no warning. Just you, becoming someone she no longer has the range to reach. Because the most unforgettable exit isn't the one that's loud and messy. It's the one that never gave her the ending she thought she deserved. Number 10. Become the standard she measures everyone against. The final form of masculine intrigue isn't just silence or glow-ups. It's legacy. It's becoming the man she uses to compare every man that comes after. You don't just leave a memory, you leave a mark. One that shifts her perspective. One that makes her realize you weren't just another guy. You were the blueprint, the benchmark, the one she let slip away. That happens when you evolve so far beyond the version she knew that even her imagination can't keep up. You become more focused, more grounded, more self-aware. You carry yourself with a presence that doesn't chase approval. It attracts attention without trying. And now, every time she meets someone new, there's a quiet voice in the back of her mind saying, he's not him. It's not about perfection. It's about contrast. You were the man with depth, with direction, with something real in your energy. The guy who didn't just talk, he moved. Who didn't try to be liked, he just was. And the longer she sits with average, the more she starts to realize what she gave up wasn't replaceable, it was rare. You don't need her to tell you she misses you. You don't need her to admit it. Because the moment you become her silent comparison point, her invisible standard, you've already won. Now, she measures every conversation, every glance, every connection against you. That's how you become her biggest what-if. Not by circling back, not by being louder, but by becoming the man she didn't recognize until it was too late. The one she'll never forget. The one she can't replace. The one who became the standard. She won't say it out loud. She might never text. But deep down, she feels it. The silence, the shift, the presence of the man she thought she knew, becoming someone she can't even reach. That's how you become her biggest what-if, not by chasing her, but by chasing yourself. Not by replacing her, but by rising above her, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need closure. You needed transformation. And now, every time your name comes up, every time she hears about your progress, sees a glimpse of the man you've become, that thought creeps in. What if I stayed? What if I saw it through? What if he was becoming everything I wanted, right after I walked away? Let her wonder. Let her sit with it. Let your existence speak so loud no words are needed. If you're done being forgettable and ready to become unforgettable, hit that like button. Subscribe to Stoic Blessing, turn on notifications, and comment below, I am the standard now. This is your story now. Make it legendary.